now maybe you're a little bit inflated in the overhead. So you've grown and now you're adding divisions and you've got a manager for this, a manager for that, now you've got this excessive overhead for what you're doing. Here's an interesting fact. Why are these bloated, large, they've grown large, maybe 10, $15 million businesses, all of a sudden significantly less profitable as they've grown? And they haven't controlled, it's because they haven't controlled their overhead. Because every dollar of overhead, let's keep this 50% gross margin. Every dollar of overhead that you cut means that you have to generate $2 less in revenue to make the same net profit, right? So that falls 100% to the bottom line.
Yes. It's pretty amazing. 100%. Let's learn our numbers. Once you learn the numbers, you'll start getting excited about the possibilities. The problem we have in this industry is we only know one number. And I can prove this every single day. And what is that number they all know? Revenue. That's the only one they know. Oh, I know my revenue. We did blah, blah, blah. All right. What was your gross margin? What? What was your profit? I don't talk about it. I don't disclose my profit. We did blah, 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 but I don't disclose the profit. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, it's pretty amazing. I mean, you think about it like this. If you really get to know your numbers and you want to focus on growing your business and tweaking your business, because they can always be tweaked and grown in different ways, right? Let's say you're like, I'm going to go expand. And now I want to bring on one more truck, or I want to bring on one more manager. And that manager makes, I don't know, let's just call it $75,000 a year plus, FICA, food suit, all the stuff. So let's just call it $75,000 a year. Just to cover the cost of that manager, if you have a 50% gross margin, you need to generate an extra $150,000 in sales just to cover the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And before they can be productive, or before you can add anything as a result of that manager.
That's right.
So the amount of money that you have to generate for adding an individual to your overhead is pretty astounding.
Yes. But yet that's what we're told to do, add positions. And
I mean, I would always have the expectation, because I just assume, and this is kind of the way that, this is why that the benchmarks that the private equity guys and stuff look at, they know that for every employee that you add on, is just on average from everybody from, somebody from a parts runner to, GM, on average with the, FICA, food, or SUDA, all the benefits and the taxes that you add, it's $100,000.
Yeah.
It costs you $100,000 for every person you got on staff. So the expectation, that's where that $1 million per office employee comes in, because if you want to keep your office employee labor to 10%, if you're going to add 100,000, you got to bring in an extra $1 million.
Yeah.
So for every person so that was always a rule of thumb for me. If I'm bringing in somebody in the office, I have to sell an extra $1 million to make that really make sense and pay off.
Yes. Because they should be no more than 10% of the cost.
Yeah.
And again, just knowing numbers, knowing when to add people and when not to add people, delegating the proper jobs to do so that we're not overwhelmed and we can get work done, right? Not creating jobs, right?
Yep.
Complicated pay systems create jobs for people that don't make us any money because they got to figure it out. And time spent from department managers, all these different people trying to figure it out. All this stuff, it's just stuff. It just adds up. It's just the little things that keep adding up, and in the inefficient way that you run the business. And so, we're doing budgeting right now. I mentioned earlier in the show, and right now what we're working on is the delta. Right? We're like, okay, we're going to have to add people this year. We're growing like crazy. What's the delta? Where we got to be? I know what my per truck revenue is, so I know, okay, so if I need to bring in, I'm going to add that $100,000, you say, I need to bring in $1 million, right? And if my truck average is 500,000, I need 2 more technicians to take care of it.
Yep.
Right? That's just the way it works. You got to stay in ratio, and you got to stay in
You got to
percentage.
stay in ratio. And the temptation to overcomplicate your business, whether it's complicated pay systems, adding bodies, whether it's just always there. The thing that I see the most is like, you're kind of stuck at this $2-3 million spot and you haven't grown. Now, some of the gurus will tell you like, okay, well, now you got to go add this division. So you're a plumbing business, go add air conditioning, go add plumbing, go add electrical, just go out and expand and have all these different divisions. Well, you need somebody to operate those divisions. You need to hire dedicated employees. When you complicate your business like that until you have perfected it, you are just almost inevitably going to have these financial challenges.
Yeah.
Like, complication is the opposite of profit.
Yes. Folks, I'll tell you right now, you're already making enough money in your business. You're just not getting it to the bottom line. And so that's why we're doing this, because we got to show you how to get it to the bottom line. It's already there. The money, the profit, all of it's already there. If you have $1 million business, have you ever just sit down and go, wait, there's $1 million that came through my fingers this year? $1 million. Think about it. And what do you have left?
It's like, don't be Mike Tyson. Don't be Mike Tyson.
Yeah. I mean, you're barely living. You're barely not even making a technician wage as the owner, and you brought in $1 million. It's not good. It's not good. You should be able to make $300,000 in that situation. The owner should make $300,000.
Yeah.
And the way you do it, it's not through higher prices. It's through knowing this information, knowing what we're telling you, and building the business based off of this stuff. Okay? Because if you have $1 million business, you're the 2% of the world. I mean, there's a lot of donut shops out there that don't do $1 million, right? A lot of nail supply, nails and stuff. They don't do $1 million, but you're doing $1 million. So you're rare. You're a rare business. It's a badge of honor to get to $1 million, in my opinion. And so now that I'm there, how do I keep the money? How do I perfect the business before I decide to go to 2 million or before I decide to add another vertical, all the things that we're told to do, or add another tech just for adding tech's sake. Heck, I met with a guy this week that it's always been, he joined a best practice group. They told him to double up his techs. That's what he did. He doubled it up from 4 to 8. Guess what happened? Sales went up 10%. He's crying. He's like, I had a great business. And I go, well, what'd you do? He goes, well, I'm back down to 4. I said, okay, you did the right thing.
Hopefully, at least upgraded a couple of them,
So, yeah, hopefully. But, it's like, it's not what you do. It's not about adding trucks. It's not about always the revenue. It's all about fixing everything and then letting the revenue come with it.
Yeah.
It's about what you keep, guys and girls. It's about what you keep.
I will say, here's another observation I've made over time, because everybody's worried about getting and keeping good talent, right? That's just part of the business, and everybody should be concerned about it.
Very concerning.
I will say that people will come and go, and it can be a little transient. If you build a solid foundational business that is backed by the math, that you understand, that is consistent in achieving profit, no matter how big or small the business is, if you have built a consistently performing business that doesn't have a lot of drama and you're just plugging along, you might see people that look like they're blowing past you in revenue. You might see people doing exciting things. There might be a lot of chatter. You will never, ever be on the hunt for good people if you can build a consistently profitable business, because you are the 1%.
Yeah.
None of your competition really has mastered the math of the business. They've not mastered the financials. They've not been able to build a consistently profitable business that a technician can show up to work and get a consistent paycheck just be consistent. You don't have to, try and rule the world. Those people that do that are oftentimes the ones that aren't going to be there 5 years from now.
Yep. So I've got something for you. At Billy Go, we grew $4 million this year, and we added one person in the field, one tech, and we grew $4 million. What did we work on? We worked on
Productivity and efficiency, baby.
productivity and efficiency. That's right. I added one tech in the field on both departments, period. That was it. I had plumbing and HVAC, but I only went up in size by one HVAC tech. And no plumbers. We didn't add more plumbers. Kept the same. And we grew by $4 million because we worked on.
Everybody's making more money along the way.
That's right. So, because I knew that we had more efficiency to keep working on. I've been working on Billy Go's 6 years old now. I mean, I'm not done. We're already talking about how do we do that again next year with one guy. All right? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about those kind of things. We're not talking about.
I mean, I love
the
where
margin.
we're at right now.
Yeah.
I mean, where we're at right now, it's a different world than 15 years ago, where the expectation of a tech might be 200,000 out of a truck. Now, if you really dial this thing in and have the right system, technicians are in the millions. You're generating millions with a technician who are then making a lot more money. So the ability to scale a business by millions, if you just narrow your focus, it's like it's never been before.
It's crazy. I mean, I got $1 million plumbing trucks. I've got multi-million-dollar HVAC trucks. I don't need. Our average truck is $1 million when you add technicians only. Techs divided into the sales is $1 million per truck. I mean, it's $1 million and some change.
I mean, they're still probably out there, but 10 years ago, it wouldn't be out of the norm to see 10% of that as the standard for a company.
200 to 300 is what I see typically most of the time. Yeah. And so I know exactly how to fix their problem. We need better training. We need better tools, less discounting. Usually they're 5 or 6% discounting, so their prices are wrong. Fixing the price book is probably the most underrated thing you could do. It is massive what it can do.
What do you say?
For business.
That's one more thing we haven't talked about that I always hear. Well, we can't price like that in my market. My market is, I'm in a rural market. I don't have a lot of, I just can't get the prices that you can get in the East Coast or the West Coast. I'm in the mid, what do you say to when you hear that?
Man, it's a delta.
Yeah, it's 100%. Your model has nothing to do with where somebody lives, what their marketplace is like. It is 100% the makeup of their business and what they can do to maximize the makeup of their business based on their cost structure, period.
If you can't sell an air conditioner for, let's just say, at 75% of what I can sell it for, it doesn't matter. Manage your delta. Sell it at 75% of what I sell it for. But you got to fix the delta to be profitable.
But if your data says that you got to sell it for something for $8,000 and you tell me that you can't sell it for $8,000, I say fix your business, fix your cost structure, move.
Yeah.
Go someplace else. You can't. The math says you can't do business.
But don't quit until you know until you know everything. Yeah. All right. Don't quit until you know it all. And that'll help you. I mean, it doesn't matter what your competitor's charging. Doesn't matter. It matters what you're charging in comparison to what your delta is at your business.
Yeah.
And there's $100 million companies all over this town. There's 5 or 6, maybe 7 of them. They're not managing their delta. I'd rather, that's what we have to do. And it's funny how as these companies grow, it just keeps shrinking. It keeps shrinking because we're not focused on that delta.
Yeah.
We're adding another person because that's what we think we need to do. Or we're not training properly. Or we're too expensive. Right? Every week we're here to give you nuggets, golden nuggets, if you will, to help you run your business better. And it's very important that you like and subscribe so we can build this channel and we can help everyone in this industry as much as possible. So thanks again for watching.
No BS with Billy and Landon is produced and delivered to you by Sarah Systems. At Sarah Systems, we've created a better way to run your home service business and unlock unprecedented growth. Our field service software was designed by real home service professionals to help you save steps, charge for previously unbillable time, and win more business. But the true change requires more than software. Our live coaching helps you understand and control the aspects of your business that matter most. It's about time for a new era of service, and we're leading the way. If you're ready to join the hundreds of other contractors who've been able to increase profit margins more than 50% within 6 months, visit sarah.tech today. That's Sarah, SERA.tech today.